Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I'm absolutely stoked beyond all measure because the most amazing car I have ever found is sitting right outside that door. Now, as you know, I am a lifetime car hunter. I'm always looking for incredible machines, cars with really interesting history, rarities, really nice preserved original cars. You know, there are some cars out there that just plain do it for you. And I think this one here is going to be one that all of you are going to be really thrilled to see. So as I walk through the lab here, you can see some of the other finds and other projects that I've had over the years. Obviously, it's been a consistent theme with me to find amazing machines and have them grace the lab. And I'm going to open up this door and show you the latest. Are you ready? Here we go. Hard to do that one-handed, but here it is, the 1995 Ford Taurus. Now, you may think I'm joking, and, well, you're probably right, I am kind of joking, but this 1995 Ford Taurus is the latest addition to the lab here, and there's a very good reason why it's here. And it's not because it's a spectacular car. It's because it belongs to a good family friend that really needs to find a home. So I'm going to do a proper review of the Ford Taurus here on the Carchaeology channel. Now, if you were to come to me and ask me what the most boring car on the planet is, there's a pretty darn good chance that I would say a Ford Taurus. Now, I remember when these cars came out, and they obviously sold very well. It was a super popular car for Ford, and it absolutely is a generic car as I look at it. I think you could pull the emblems off of this, just drive it around as it is. It's a car that's completely invisible out there in the world. Nobody's going to look at it and go, man, that's a nice Taurus. It was a car that was built for one purpose, and that purpose only is to take you from point A to point B. So if you are a fan of the channel and have been for a while, you may remember the adventures up in Anza, California, with the yard that was full of all the cars and all the assorted junk. Well, the owner of that property, Clem, was the father of the current owner of this car here. And this was Clem's last ride. So he had bought this car in the early 2000s. I think it had, 60,000 miles on it or so when he bought it. He cared for it religiously. It was the nicest car that he owned. It was reliable and comfortable and a great car for him in his final years. And then after his passing, his daughter took it over as a second car, and she too drove it around for a while and maintained it as well. She put new tires on it. She changed the oil. The battery's just a few years old. She did a lot of stuff to make sure that it was still running and driving properly and to care for it the way that her father taught her. But here it is, 1995 Ford Taurus, the most uncollectible car perhaps in the world. It is absolutely an appliance on wheels as far as I'm concerned. This is a car that normally I would not be seen dead in. There is nothing cool about this automobile, but at the same time, here it is in front of me, and this is an opportunity for me to experience all the glory that is the Ford Taurus. So let's look a little closer. Let's see what we got. Obviously, there's a little bit of paint fade, some scratches and stuff here and there. A super solid car, though. New tires, as mentioned. It is the, oh my God, the GL model. It's got the key entry there, which is kind of cool. And the interior of the car, surprisingly, is in amazing condition. In the back seat here, I noticed that they covered up the top of the seat here so that it wouldn't cook in the sun. And it looks like it's in beautiful shape. Now, there's a little split in the headliner there. It's starting to sag a little bit, as cars of this era do, as that glue gives up. But the seats in here, I mean, think about it. This is a car from 1995. It's got 130,000 miles on it or so, and those seats have held up incredibly well. I mean, driver's seat, look at it. Wow. Okay, I'm pretty impressed. The quality of it, at least as far as the longevity here with a family that took good care of it, it's really pretty nice. Now, she did mention that the door panel fell loose. There's a couple screws there that were put on there. It looks like that's just a little bit loose. But let's get on in here. Look at all that is here. So looking at the mileage here, 139,000 miles on it. So the family got some miles out of it, definitely. Click on the lights there. Starts right up. There you go. Airbag light. Well, hey, even that went off. It looks like it's got an AM/FM cassette radio in there. I've been told that the air conditioning actually blows cold. Let's go ahead and crank that on. All right, feeling a little warm, feeling a little warm. Sure enough, that's cooling off. Ooh, yeah, blowing ice cold. So let's see, radio. Does the radio work? Yeah. Actually, sounds pretty good. Now, she did say that the owner's manual is here, as well as some service records and stuff. Let's turn on the lights. Do we have dash lights? I'm not seeing dash lights here. Headlights, dash lights. Maybe it's got to be in gear or something. All right, I'm not seeing dash lights, but maybe it's just not quite dark enough. But let's go for a drive. Okay, test drive time. I've got my pilot and co-pilot, or my two co-pilots here with me. There probably have not been many dogs in this car. I promise I will vacuum it out before it goes anywhere. But let's see, let's get on the road here. I'm gonna kind of wing it around the corner here, see how she handles. Not bad. A little acceleration. Professional driver, closed course. Do not try this at home. You know what? That thing drives pretty darn nice. I mean, seriously. Let's see, a little brake check. Nice. Okay, so it is a 90s American car. Certainly I hear a little bit of the plastic rattle that you would expect, especially from a car of this age with this kind of miles on it. But really not bad. Functional AC, power steering, we got cruise control, we've got all the bells and whistles. And you know what? Nothing to write home about, but compared to a lot of the old cars that I deal with, it actually takes off and goes pretty good. Now, I don't know the specs of the motor that's in this thing. I will pop the hood and take a look to make sure it has one, but obviously it's getting me on down the road, which is not a bad thing. And all systems are go. There's even a full tank of gas in this beauty. What do you think, Freya? Is this all right? She seems about as bored with it as one would expect. Now again, this is transportation. This is a good basic car. This is what has brought Ford across the country and around the world as a car that has and a good family machine for everybody. Now, I don't know how many Tauruses they've sold. I'm sure they sold a ton of them. I might take a look at that to do a little wrap up and a little more history on the glory that is the Ford Taurus. But man, not bad so far. All right, let's spin around and go back to the lab, and we can look a little closer at this machine. It's got windows that go down, so doggy noses can go out. Love the flapping headliner. Oh, the glory of an American car from the mid-1990s. The majestic 95 Ford Taurus. Oh yeah. So here it is in all of its glory. The 1995 Ford Taurus in probably the most boring color that they offered. Just a basic silver. Now, it is an appliance on wheels. It is simply the most boring automobile I think you would ever come across. Now, you didn't buy one of these cars because you always wanted one of these cars. You bought one of these cars because you needed a comfortable, reliable American automobile to get you from point A to point B. And this is a car that'll do it. It's got 138,000 miles on it, I think it is. It's been well treated. It's been well cared for. It'll haul your groceries. It'll haul your dogs. It will get you from point A to point B. It's guaranteed not to inspire envy of others. Nobody's going to steal this car. This is the perfect car to hop in and absolutely disappear. You don't want people looking at you thinking that you're some highfalutin dude driving your Porsche or your Lamborghini or your Ferrari or anything. If you want the car that is purely invisible, the appliance on wheels, this, the 1995 Ford Taurus, is the machine for you. Now, one of my favorite things about dealing with these old cars is research. I love to learn about the cars that I touch. And while the Ford Taurus is something that I'm really just helping out a family friend with, it's an opportunity for me to learn something. And so I've gone to the internet to learn about perhaps the most boring automobile on the planet, the Ford Taurus. And I've actually learned some really amazing stuff. So the Ford Taurus was around from late 1985 up until 2019. I mean, over 34 years of production with a brief hiatus between 2006 and 2007. And the second generation of the car, which this Taurus is, was the best-selling car in America throughout its whole run. Over 1,400,000 of these Ford Tauruses were built. And that's pretty mind-blowing. It's a car that has gone through the American landscape, and I don't think anybody has even noticed it. It's a car I would not even look at if it was out there on the road, but it sold like gangbusters. It was a revolutionary car for Ford, not only in its sales, but in the approach of manufacturing it. So a big part of the manufacture of the Ford Taurus was pushed by this gentleman. Deming was his last name. Let me find the info here on Wikipedia. And it was, it was the first automobile at Ford designed and manufactured using the statistical process control ideas of this guy, W. Edwards Deming, who was a statistician that was consulted by Ford to bring a culture of quality to the enterprise. Another case, he was a bean counter. He was somebody that was looking at the statistics and trying to make the best possible car that Ford could, purely by looking at the numbers. Now, I looked a little bit more into this Deming guy, and he actually had a fantastic career out there of using this scientific or statistical approach to manufacturing. So he was born in 1900. and was initially an electrical engineer and then later specialized in mathematical physics. He developed the sampling techniques still used by the Census Bureau and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And he's also known as the father of the quality movement and was hugely influential in post-World War II Japan, credited with revolutionizing Japan's industry and making it one of the most dominant economies in the world. He's best known for his theories of management, and Ford hired him to look at production of the Ford automobile and to come up with the best possible car. And the best possible car was the Ford Taurus. And proof of his skills are certainly related to the fact that it was the best-selling car in America. Now, I've always looked at automotive design and automotive construction as something of beauty, something that inspires something that you want. You want this car. You want it to perform well. You want it to look good. You want it to be comfortable, and so on and so forth. I've always looked at it from an artistic standpoint or the seat of the pants feel. Well, maybe the reason that I was never turned on by the Ford Taurus is because it was designed with that not at all a part of the equation. It was all about building a tool, building the best car that Ford could make that would hopefully sell like gangbusters, and pretty impressive. And I've got to say, for my short little drive down the valley, it's a pretty damn good car, and certainly a darn good car for the money. I mean, I don't know what those things sold for originally. I suppose I could look it up. This car now in the used market is maybe worth $1,500, a couple grand at most, if you're lucky. It's well preserved, it's well kept, it's been well maintained, it's got some miles on it, but I would hop in that thing and drive it to New York City right now. And, well, you can if it's something you want to do. But I've learned a little bit about the Ford Taurus and about this gentleman, W. Edwards Deming. A very boring but scientific approach to building an automobile. And hey, got the dash lights working. Sure enough, little dimmer switch down there. That's working. So everything works on this car. Man, no check engine lights. Everything seems to function. It's got that annoying seatbelt bell if you forget to put your seatbelts on, which will probably go on here in a second. But I don't know. I don't want to say I'm impressed with the car, but I'm not dissatisfied either. I mean, seriously, it drives pretty damn nice. It's no Mercedes. It's no what she said, but it's a decent car. I think the dog wants out. Maybe it's time to do that. All right, you ready? Yeah.